All right, welcome to a live walkthrough Playa Conchal. We're actually starting here at the river to give you a geographical reference point for the walk down the beach here. You can look on the satellite image and see where the river comes closest to the water. So we get a storm building, probably rain it's rainy season, so it's June. So rainy season, it's probably gonna rain about 2 o'clock today. The Ticos say it rains every day at 2 o'clock. So Playa Conchal is about 2.5 miles long with the rocky structure right there, ending on that side with Playa Brasilito on the other side. Goes down this way. And then the other side of this forest area there, you got Playa Zapotiao or Playa Minas. The river coming out here. There's some rocks down on the beach down on that end, but most of it is just this gorgeous white sand. So let's go for a little walk down Playa Conchal. We'll talk about where each of the resorts are, some things to see and do on the beach. If you've watched our ultimate guide to the W Costa Rica, you know that there's some secret beaches out there you can take a kayak out to. If you look at the rock right there, you just took a kayak out towards that rock. And then just before you get to it, you turn left. You'll see a little slot where you can slide in, and the beach is right there. We got a good wave coming in here. Here you can see, look off to the resorts over there. This part of the beach, pretty much everything here is just rainforest. It's just part of Reserva Conchal, the nature reserve here, 2,300 acres. And so you go that way about 20, 30 feet into the woods there. There's a barbed wire fence, you can't go past that. There is a path you can walk back there. And if you took a horseback ride on the beach, they'll start you down here at the resorts, walk you all the way down the beach here. In fact, you can see some horse prints, or hoof prints here in the sand. They'll walk you all the way down, and then go in, and then walk you back. And take you back through the path behind the beach there. You can see how, even though there's a lot of people at the resorts, both the Westin and the W, it's pretty easy to find a private spot on the beach here. I mean, I think I could start shouting and nobody would hear me. We've got enough distance between us and the next person. There's also a number of places. The tide's pretty low right now. At high tide, the water comes all the way up to the bottoms of these trees here. There's also a number of places you can just walk up. And there'll be some picnic benches back in here. Let's give you an idea. There you go. Maybe you can see the barbed wire fence back there. Even if that fence wasn't there, or you find a spot where there's no fence, you don't want to go back there. There's enough wild things in the rainforest. It's good to just enjoy the beach. This is not a bad place to enjoy lunch either, at one of these picnic benches. So we're just gonna take a good walk here. I'll show you where each of the resorts are. Take you down to the tide pools at the other end of the beach. I know what you're thinking. Maybe I want to scrub forward. When you're here, this is the best part. Just the long, slow walk down the beach. When you're sitting at your desk trying to maximize your time for researching your trip to Costa Rica, you think, I think I want to scrub forward through this part. Let's get to the good stuff. Up here on the right, you can see the white umbrellas. This is where the Westin is. Nope, sorry, that's the Westin over there. This is the W. This is where we're staying this week. I won't talk too much about the W or the Westin. You can check out our videos on each one of those things. Get the details there. This video is meant to just be a nice, relaxing walk down the Playa Conchal. So you can see Zona Azul right up there, just inside the woods there. There's a path right here that walks up to W Costa Rica. If you're interested in learning how to hydrofoil, you want to talk to Rodrigo. Here you go. Here's a QR code for you. Or you can look for eFoil Rodrigo on YouTube. Rodrigo's a pretty cool dude. He's always out here. Splits his time between the W and the Westin. We just watched him give a lesson to a teenage boy out there. Rodrigo makes the hydrofoil look easy, but I don't buy it. It doesn't look quite so easy. I don't think I would dig in on that. So it's just walking past the W there. And here, there's all the chairs for the W. If you went up in here, it's right in here, right outside the W. There's a spot where Nicole has a booth set up, give you a massage. Check this out. There's Nicole's little spot. Looks like they're giving a dude a massage right now, so we'll give them some privacy. Here's the Costa Rica. They kind of let you know the safety on the waves here. You just kind of walk in, they got the water there. They'll grab chairs for you, but here's chairs. And here's a spot where you can grab some towels. This path leads up to Zona Azul. And then, all right. Our live stream keeps disconnecting, so you're still with me. We just did the Westin there. And as we walk this way towards this rocky outcropping here, that represents the end of Playa Conchal. We also get to the part where Playa Conchal start to see where Playa Conchal got its name from. The beach is becoming less sand and more shells. I'll give you a closer look at that here in just a minute. Listen to that. The sound of the water in the shells is different than the sound of the water in the sand. It's pretty cool. Listen. As we get down here, we also have, start to see more and more ticos and ticas, native Costa Ricans. It's easy access to Playa Conchal from right there, Brasilito. I'll show you the crossover there. We'll end the video down there, but first, you gotta see these shells. And it's, the shell content is increasing. But look, it's starting to get pretty serious here. And the further down here you get, the less sand and the more shells. To the point where coming up this hill over here towards the outcropping, it just becomes like 100% shells. So look at this. We'll show you right over here. Look at this. That's crazy. Let's walk over and see what we can see at the tide pools over here. I'm in my bare feet, so we're not going to get far out there. Don't get too excited. And then I'll show you a crossover to Brasilito. If you want to walk to dinner, if you're staying at either the W or at the Westin, you could walk down this way, cross over at the Brasilito crossover there, walk down Playa Brasilito to Patagonia del Mar for dinner. Here you go, this is all shells. There's just nothing but shells down here. It's crazy. Yep. Listen to that. That's amazing. Cool spot to go snorkeling down in here. There's a really good wave break right here so that you can get in the water down here. And a lot of the time, if you get into the right spot, right time, you can get some good snorkeling in there. It's also extremely sharp rocks and extremely unpredictable ocean, so be careful, kids. But speaking of kids, they're not scared. Look at this. You can see why Playa Conchal has consistently been named the #1 beach in the world. It's really just a remarkable place. We'll walk up here. I'll show you the crossover to Brasilito. We'll jog, actually. Walking in these shells is not as easy as I make it look. A lot of vendors here. So you can tell this is the busier end of the beach. This is the crossover to Brasilito. If you're not staying at the Westin or at the W and you want to visit Playa Conchal, the best way to do that is what these folks are doing right here. They parked down there, Playa Brasilito. They walked the full length of the beach, which Brasilito is not a bad beach. It's just not Playa Conchal. And then they're coming over here to Playa Conchal. Again, this is the busy end of the beach. The further you go the other direction, it's a 2.5 mile walk, about 2 miles to where we started, 2.5 miles to the far end of the beach. Down there it gets a lot quieter, pretty easy to find a spot to yourself. You know, we got to finish things off with a gorgeous view of the beach again. Let's do that right down here. There we go. All right, thanks for joining us on a live walkthrough of Playa Conchal. Hope this is helpful as you think through your trip to Costa Rica. Subscribe to Finding Mangoes to boost your Costa Rica research and travel to Costa Rica with confidence.